It's a bit unfortunate that Parliament chose to acquiesce to a very forceful executive that rammed through the Coffee Amendment Bill without sober debate, without public participation, and in complete disregard of the voices of stakeholders.
Jude, can the circumstances under which it was passed be used as a basis for its challenge in the courts of law?
I think the Coffee Amendment Bill is vulnerable to legal challenge in the Constitutional Court, especially on grounds of public participation. There has been very, very poor and limited public participation in the passage of the Coffee Amendment Bill. By public participation, we mean the stakeholders in the sector, ordinary voters, members of the public, have a right to have their views heard when laws that are going to regulate them are enacted. In this particular case, there was a very strong public mood in favor of, for example, retaining the Uganda Coffee Development Authority as a regulator of the coffee sector, but instead it appears the views of the president prevailed against the views of all the other stakeholders. That defeats public participation and is an indicator there was no public participation. But also crucially, Parliament did not afford a fair opportunity for members of the public, for stakeholders, to individually canvass support for particular positions, either at the committee stage, prior to passing of this bill. And therefore, I think the absence of reasonable and fair public participation on the enactment of the Coffee Amendment Act 2024 renders it vulnerable to constitutional challenge.
Now, in your view, can anything be done to ensure legislation that is tandem with the voices of the people, but also the law?
Typically speaking, legislation or the laws that govern society should be understood by society, should be appreciated by society, and should be an outcome of consensus from society. Therefore, when you are going to pass a law that is going to regulate the growing, the export of coffee or any other crop, it is fair and reasonable that farmers and other individuals who are in the ecosystem that deals with the coffee should have a say, and their views, surely their views should weigh a lot. That is how any good law is enacted. The people who are supposed to be affected by that law should have a say. And then the people supposed to implement the law should also have a say. When you do that is when you get a proper law that can regulate society very well. But when a law is forced through, the only way you can enforce that law is through resort to autocratic and authoritarian mechanisms. And I think that's what is going to happen with this coffee law and all the other laws we have seen which are passed through this manner. When a law doesn't have public support, it lacks legitimacy. And a law that does not have legitimacy, in many of the cases, will never be obeyed, and will only serve maybe some narrow interests.